She stood on the world's biggest stage, an Oscar in her hand, but felt completely hollow. This wasn't the dream. This was a nightmare dressed in gold. To understand Nicole Kidman, you don't look at the awards or the red carpets. The star who lost herself to fame. You look at the shy, red-haired girl in Australia. So tall and pale, she felt like an alien. While other kids played in the sun, she found her home in the darkness of a theater. Acting wasn't a choice. It was a hiding place. A way to be someone else, anyone else, because being herself was just too painful. She was a girl with a stammer, full of fears, who discovered she could speak without stuttering only when she was pretending to be another person. This discovery would define her entire life, blurring the line between who she was and the characters she played, until one day, she wasn't sure where one ended and the other began. Her first real role was in a gritty Australian film. She was raw, fearless. Hollywood noticed. They saw a spark, a fire that could light up the screen. She arrived in America, a naive young woman thrown into a world of giants, and she met one of them, Tom Cruise. Their connection was electric, a whirlwind romance that became a global obsession. Suddenly, she wasn't just Nicole Kidman, the actress. She was Mrs. Cruise. She was one half of a power couple, living a life that looked perfect from the outside. They adopted 2 children, building a family under the intense glare of the public eye. For a decade, she lived inside this bubble. She was protected, but she was also trapped. The shy girl from Australia was now one of the most famous women in the world, yet she felt her own identity slowly slipping away. She was becoming a supporting character in her own life story. The bubble burst without warning. The end of her marriage wasn't just a breakup, it was a public spectacle. The person she had built her life around was gone, and the world watched her fall. She was alone, with 2 children, under a microscope of media judgment. The pain was immense. It was a dark, confusing time. Many would have crumbled, retreated from the spotlight that had burned them. But Nicole did something different. She took all that pain, all that confusion, and poured it into her work. She ran towards the darkness, not away from it. This is where her true transformation began. The perfect Hollywood wife was gone. In her place stood an artist, ready to explore the deepest, most complicated corners of the human heart. She took on a role that would scare most actresses. The writer Virginia Woolf, a woman haunted by depression. To become her, Nicole changed everything. She wore a prosthetic nose that made her unrecognizable. She learned to write with her right hand. She sank into the character's sadness, so deep that her own children started to worry. But she had to go there. It was a kind of therapy. By playing a woman losing her mind, she was finding herself again. The film was The Hours. Her performance was breathtaking. It was more than acting. It was a confession, and it won her the Oscar. But as she stood on that stage, clutching the golden statue, a strange emptiness washed over her. She had reached the very top of her profession, the moment she had dreamed of, and she had never felt more alone. She went home to an empty hotel room, ate takeout, and thought, is this it? The triumph felt hollow. It taught her a hard lesson. Professional success cannot fix personal emptiness. This realization was the real turning point. She understood that she needed to build a life, not just a career. She had spent so long being other people. She had forgotten how to just be Nicole. She started to make different choices. She took a step back, looking for something real. And then, she met country singer Keith Urban. This relationship was different. It wasn't a Hollywood fantasy. It was quiet, steady, and built on a shared understanding of life's struggles. He was a musician, an artist like her, but from a different world. He saw her, not the movie star, but the woman underneath. They married and had 2 daughters. For the first time, she felt a sense of peace, a feeling of home that had nothing to do with a movie set or a red carpet. She didn't stop working, but her approach changed. She was no longer running from herself. Instead, she was using her life experiences to give her characters more depth, more truth. She started producing her own projects, like the massively successful series Big Little Lies. She wasn't waiting for good roles to come to her. She was creating them. She played a woman in an abusive marriage, a mother with dark secrets. The performances were powerful because they felt real. She was drawing from a well of personal understanding. She was no longer hiding in her characters. She was revealing parts of herself through them. She had finally learned how to merge the artist and the woman. Nicole Kidman's story isn't about the glamour of Hollywood. It's the story of a search for self. A shy, insecure girl who used acting to hide, and in the process became a global icon. A woman who had to lose everything she thought she wanted, the perfect marriage, the ultimate award, to find what she truly needed, herself. She had to walk through the fire of public heartbreak and profound loneliness to emerge stronger, more authentic, and more in control of her own narrative. She's a reminder that sometimes the greatest performances are the ones we give in our own lives, and the most important role we can ever play is our own. The roles she plays now are deeper and more complex than ever. Thanks for watching.